Hello, everyone.
Hey. I'm back.
Look who's next to me.
Sorry, guys. I just needed to take a little break from YouTube for a little while and basically reboot my brain. A lot of things hit me at one time, and I just needed to take a break for a little bit, guys. Sorry if I didn't keep anybody updated. Just something I had to do on my own. And I apologize to Marv. We had a long talk yesterday, so we're good.
We're good.
Good to see everybody. Sorry.
You're all right. Oh my God, everybody. We have a jam-packed live tonight.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, we're going to start it out with a hip hip hooray and a shout of joy because JJ from Florida, the little 2-year-old, was found today. So thank you, Andrea, for putting that on our Facebook page. She IM'd me right away and told me about it, and I couldn't really watch it at the moment. I was in a meeting, but was very, very happy to hear that. Very happy. So let's get our hellos out of the way. Marsha, hello. It was very good to talk to you on Facebook Messenger the other night.
Oh, that reminds me, Angela, that case we...
No.
Angela Bauer, or whatever her name is.
Okay.
The one here in Indiana, the girl that was buried, that went to a party of some sort, and her ex-boyfriend and girlfriend. You're froze.
I froze?
Now you're not. Well, her mother requested to join the Facebook group.
Oh, good.
So, just wanted to let you know that.
Love Tina 2010. Hello. Ready for some updates. Renee Days, how are you?
It's Renee Patton.
Indy Pam, let's do this. Yes. Andrea, how are you? Olivia 2. Christy. Yes, we'll get into that. Jill, how are you?
Been a minute, Jill. Where you been hiding?
Vanessa Marie, welcome back. Rescue all the dogs. Nice to see you. D, hope you're doing well. There he is. Mark, how are you this evening, good sir? Trust and Justice. Let's see here. A lot of repeats. Deb's True Crime Notebook. Hello, Deb. Digital, good to see ya. Jumpin' Jack Flash, how are you? Hey, Melissa. Nice to have you here. So, I know on the thumbnail it lists a few cases that we're going to give updates on, but actually we have more updates. We have a plea for help from Mr. Jensen. I'm going to play that more towards the end. So the first update, I know a lot of you have been following the case. The little boy in Florida, JJ, he was found. We're happy to hear that. And he just had a few scratches on him. So sounds like he did okay through the night. Hey, Sloopy, how are you? So the next update that we're going to go into, Frank's going to give, and it's on Karina McClurkin.
Yes. Flint Farmer's trial was supposed to start let me make sure I have the correct dates here. I believe it was the 17th, and it got continued.
Okay.
And his next court appearance is going to be April 18th at 9 a.m. It's a pretrial conference, and then the trial is scheduled for May 9th, starting at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon.
Okay. Not surprising. A lot of continuances in cases. There's supposed to be a lot of cases starting in March. We're coming to the end of February. So I can see that some are going to get continued, but some are actually going to start. So that's one we'll keep an eye on. 4 pit bulls and a toy hauler across America. Thank you so much. Let's hit that like and subscribe. Show Frank and Marv some love.
As a matter of fact, it automatically does it for me when I log into my laptop.
So, okay, that is one case that we'll keep an eye on and keep you updated on. We definitely want to keep an eye on that one. It's weird because I've got StreamYard up and my picture is clear, but then I have YouTube up and my picture's kind of blurry. I don't understand it. Yeah, we'll find out. So
Somebody asked if we've been watching the Murdoch case, and that's
I'm just going to talk about that.
Geez, that's a circus in itself.
Yes, I have been watching the Murdoch case.
And now he's acting like some drug problem craze.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But I have to admit, I think by him testifying, there could be a hung jury on this one.
I mean, I haven't really been following it that much. I watched it a few days last week. But I could see the defense. They were going right after the experts the prosecutor was presenting.
They were, but today, that prosecution's cross on him was completely, it was off. I thought. The guy admitted to everything he has done wrong. Drugs, the stealing the money.
And fornication.
So today the prosecutor was like, did you steal from so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so? He went overboard on that. Way overboard. He did not focus enough on the area that they were found in, what happened when he got there, and all that, the actual murder site and everything. He did not ask him the right questions at all. And I do not think he did his case any justice in his cross at all. So now the defense is re-questioning him. And he's doing a very good job of bringing up emails and other information that goes against what the prosecutor
Murdoch is an attorney too. He knows the ins and outs of how to answer, how to answer certain questions and what not to answer. He knows the ins and outs, so he knows what he's doing up on that stand.
No, I know. But just the emotion and everything that he displayed, you can't fake that.
I mean, this case is all circumstantial anyway.
Right. And one of the things that really bothered me is because he's an attorney, he knows what to check and where to get information from on a case.
That's my whole point. He knows the ins and outs.
Specifically asked them to get the OnStar records and everything else, and they waited too long. And by the time they requested it, it wasn't available.
Yeah, OnStar only keeps it for so long. Just like sell companies with the same thing with theirs.
So right now, if you are watching the trial, they'll do polls. Is he guilty, not guilty, or are you unsure? There's enough unsures and not guilties to do a hung jury.
You only have to have one person disagree with everybody else. That is it.
And when he was testifying about finding his wife and his son, and especially having the son's brains, he could see that his son's brains were on the ground from the distance. There was 2 jurors crying.
And see, when I was watching it last week, they were just his legal team was had that gun expert up on the stand, or whoever he was, and I didn't see any type of reaction out of Murdaugh. That, I mean, and then I said, "Damn, it's because he knows that he's an attorney. He knows the way he's supposed to act as a defendant or a witness, and he knows how to play that role."
Yeah, Christy even says, so far not much proof that he killed Maggie and Paul. And the thing that really has me twisted is the fact that the son was getting all these death threats. And it could have easily been someone that went after him. Love Tina says they're not asking him the right questions. Makes me upset. Exactly. Steffa says, I felt bad for him when he talked about Maggie and Paul. Prosecutor was awful today. I say hung jury. Jumpin' Jack Flash. I couldn't convict him with 100% certainty. A lot of I agree, Marvs. I am thinking it's going to be hung. Yeah. He cries because he killed them, not because they are dead. I don't know. He knows what he is doing, but prosecution has not proven he fired the shots. That is key. Right there. They charged him with the firing the shots. Indy Pam says, I don't see a conviction. CSI for the state messed up big time. Digital says, I think he is guilty, and I think they proved it. So we're getting different reactions. Jumpin' Jack says, I believe he's guilty, but they haven't proved it. So it's interesting to see everybody in their comments about if he's guilty. Oh, I think he's guilty, but I believe it will be hung.
Now, what about these threats his son was getting? Did he ever determine who those were from?
Most of them were online, and he said that you know how online threats can be.
Man, that's
he
terrible.
Said they were awful. He couldn't even talk about what was said, but there were threats that they were going to kill him. Christy says, I feel AM knows who killed them and possibly helped to set it up, but didn't personally pull the trigger. Son was getting death threats, but AM said no reports were done to back it up. He did report it, but no official police reports were filed.
They're talking about Farmer. Hey guys, remember they just had a massive snow up in that area where he lives at, so just be patient. He'll reach out if they've lost power, cell service, or whatever. So you guys just be patient. He'll reach out when he's able to, guys. They
really got it bad. We got 9 inches here where my boss lives up north. They got over 25 inches. And he's in Michigan, which is further, so they got even more. So
he lives in Kalamazoo, so he's right there in the blunt of everything.
Sloopy says, I agree he is guilty. I also believe it will be a hung jury. The only thing I think everyone could agree on is he's a lying liar who lies. Yes, I agree. They never showed proof of any threats. Correct. So it'll be interesting to see Mondays. I didn't get to see the very end today, so I don't know if his attorney finished up with him and the prosecutor is going to get another shot on Monday, or if his attorney is still questioning him. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Oh, believe me, we'll get to Delphi. We'll get there.
Give me a second. I'm looking. I'm doing the update on the Maya Robertson case.
Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about, and I'm just gonna pull it up here. Because it broke yesterday. Okay.
Oh, what was her name? Shit.
So, some of you may have remembered a story about Ray Hanish. If you remember this, Garett Kirts was always
Been a
said to
prime.
be the one that killed him, the prime suspect. They just never charged him. They said they didn't have enough evidence. Well, I believe with the elections and everything, they have some new blood in there. And yesterday, we were notified that a grand jury indicted Garett Kirts for the 2019 death of Charles Ray Hanish. So this is big. From what I hear, not a lot of grand juries are convened around there. So it says a grand jury has returned a true bill charging Garett Kirts, formerly of Lebanon, with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of theft in connection with the 2019 death of Charles Ray Hanish. Hanish's body was found in Reynolds' duplex in March of 2019. The coroner ruled his death a homicide from asphyxiation due to ligature strangulation. Same thing that happened with Nicole Bowen. Hanish worked in Monticello as a nurse at the time of his death. Oh, excuse me. Kirts is currently serving a 50-plus year sentence in the Indiana Department of Corrections for the murder of Nicole Bowen.
He's about an hour northeast of me at Pendleton. Been by there many a times.
Yep. And it specifically says her manner of death was ruled strangulation.
So that's basically his signature.
That is his signature, yes. Hanish's death was investigated by the Indiana State Police, who turned their findings over to the then White County prosecutor, Bob Guy. This week, current White House prosecutor Mark Delgado called for a grand jury to review the case. To my knowledge, this is the first time a grand jury has been called in White County, Delgado said. At least this is the first time for the entire time that I've been in White County. So a grand jury is different from a jury. It's a group of citizens, but it's secretive. You don't know who those citizens are. And what is discussed in a grand jury cannot be shared with the public at all. And it's to protect the integrity of the case. The grand jury simply decides if there's probable cause or reason to believe a crime has occurred, as opposed to a jury that decides guilt or innocence. Prosecutors can file charges in two ways: via a true bill through a grand jury or through an indictment. Once the grand jury has deemed that there is cause for charges, the prosecutor then reviews the information and moves forward with formal charges. We anticipate the prosecutor's office will file formal charges next week, with a hearing shortly thereafter. Delgado said he plans to use the grand jury process more often moving forward. So that's good to hear, because with a grand jury, they get to hear evidence and testimony and everything else, but it's kept secretive.
It's sealed.
Right. And they can determine whether there's enough evidence to bring charges or not.
You know, what's so funny about this one now is it's like domino effect is going on.
Yes.
Domino effects happening with these cases.
And I was going to bring that up, because there's a lot of cases that Indiana has had that have been cold for so long. Karina.
177. Something like that.
Ray Hanish. Amaya Roberts.
Jordan Sofer.
Jordan Sofer, yeah. You know, and all of a sudden, you've had an arrest in Amaya's. You've had an arrest in Karina's. Now you've got an arrest in Ray's. You know, you've got an arrest in Delphi. So things are happening.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden, Indiana has had the spotlight on them, and they're like, crap, we're 47th out of all the states of closing cases. We've got to get our butt in gear and get going.
Speaking of Amaya Robertson, there is no change. They're still scheduled for trial next month.
Okay.
Or as a matter of fact, starting next week, I believe.
Okay.
End of next week or the following week.
Yeah. So I believe that he did do the right thing. If this is the purpose of a grand jury, more of these prosecutors should use this.
Yes.
As a tool to see if they have enough evidence or not, instead of just holding on to these cases for years and years and years.
Exactly. See, now Pitbull's made a good one right here.
Yes. Yes, I agree. So what are your thoughts about Garett Kirts being charged for Ray's death and Carroll County wanting everything sealed? Possibly a tentacle?
We had a long discussion about this last night.
I have never taken the drug angle off of my sheet.
It's actually, we're looking at about a combination of both.
Yeah.
One used the other to lure, and the one that used the other to lure them there ended up doing the murder. So
I say it's about freaking time that Garett Kirts has been arrested for Ray's murder. It should have been, he should have already been arrested and tried a long time ago, in my opinion. And I think this is a tentacle.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to remember, in the Open Secrets interviews with him, he did clearly state that he was all methed out, strung out on dope and everything. He doesn't know what he was doing that day, but he does know for sure he didn't kill two girls. Now, how is that possible if you said you didn't do anything that day, but do recall not killing two girls? You know, I mean, it's just.
And like I told Frank last night, if Garett Kirts truly was that strung out and that high on and messed up on drugs, there is no way he could have committed the 2 murders and not had a sloppy job and been not been charged for it already.
Yes, Angela, we understand that he admitted a few years back about the Ray Hanish, but he said it was an accident, but they didn't bring charges on him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They waited 3 years later.
Yep.
When the election came around and they got new people in office and different people looking at these different cases now. So
yeah, definitely. So I do not agree with the gag order on the Delphi case, and I do not agree with sealing all these documents. I say let them out. But we'll get into Delphi more here in just a little bit. So Kirts has already admitted responsibility, and that's the worst part, is he did admit it. But was his story the truth? Well, a grand jury said no. They don't believe it was an accident. And that's big.
and it's making me wonder who's flipping on him or who testified or went to the grand jury. It makes me wonder if Ashley Garth was called to the grand jury.
Right? Right?
You know, so there's a lot of dominoes starting to fall.
Yes.
We just need the big one to fall right now. That's what we need.
Yeah, and there's another person that's sitting in jail that was close to Garett. It was big in the drug scene. He's got other buddies that are sitting. So could they all be finally talking?
Chris Mathis, he's in prison. Gabe Ellis, Paladinos. Well, as a matter of fact, Jason's due to be released from prison in July of this year.
Yep.
If he's not out already.
I agree with you. Support with stuff. I think he knows.
I think he does too.
No, I don't think Garett Kirts is ever getting out of prison.
No, not now. He's not. Unless he wants to talk about Delphi and do a plea deal and say, hey, I'll tell you everything about Delphi if you drop this charge down to involuntary manslaughter.
True. But he's already in there for 50, so even if he got involuntary...
He's automatically in there for 25 as of right now. Yeah. Yes, he got sentenced to 55, I believe it was, or something like that, but they automatically have to do 25.
Uh-oh, you froze. So effing music, while Frank unfreezes, hopefully. He said that they were in a sexual act and that it was an accident, that they were doing some kind of strangulation type thing and it went too far and he accidentally killed Ray. So from what I know, and I remember the story, so don't quote me, I'm going off of memory. Ashley Garth and Garett Kirts were living with Ray. And I'm sure he saw things, heard things that he shouldn't have. You know, could it have been a sexual act? I guess. Yeah, Ray was gay. But I think it's more than that.
Better?
Yeah, you froze big time.
It said it on the screen. It was your end.
What?
It shows up here in the left-hand corner how many people are viewing and how much time we got. It'll show the internet emblem, and it showed you only had one bar on your end.
Oh, I
Mine
kept
was full.
going.
Huh.
So you got to remember, I'm seeing comments here. It'd be awesome for Garett Kirts to talk about Delphi. It's a catch for him.
Yeah,
Can we
he's
talk about-
jeopardizing his own life.
Yeah. He was in the big drug ring big time. And if he squeals,
He'll be in solitary confinement for the rest of his time in prison.
right.
I could just see it happening, though. I could see this the domino effect is happening.
Yes.
I could see this. I could just see it happening. He's gonna roll like crazy now.
He might. Frank, can you find out if he's still in the actual jail, or did they find him?
He's at the prison.
He's at the prison. Okay.
Yeah.
Garett Kirts is a psychopath, makes me sick. He was training horses. Can you imagine the abuse?
Narcissistic psychopath at that.
Erotic asphyxiation. That's what it is. Last night, Ray's mom said Ray's face was so bruised they could not have an open casket.
That's
not accidental.
Well, no, not necessarily. That could be that how long did it take before they found his body? What, 5 days, 3 days or something?
It was days later.
Well, because your body's going to bloat up and you're going to start change colors from decomp and all that stuff within 24 to 48 hours. So he might have been blue, and they told him that he had already changed colors and we can't fix this
that could be.
Because a friend of mine died of an overdose and they found him 2 days later and they said that he had already started turning blue and there was nothing, they couldn't have an open casket.
I agree with you, Jumpin' Jack Flash. I agree with you.
Yeah, Deb's not far from Pendleton prison.
I like this comment. I'll let y'all read it. You're not.
Oh my God. Right. Really, Freckle Joy? Aren't you in Texas now? I think she went to Texas from California because she's a medic.
Okay, he's in Pendleton. Gotcha.
Yeah.
They did rob Ray. They took his car for one.
His TV.
And his TV cell phone. And other items.
And his cell phone.
Oh, so he laid on his stomach for, yes. Okay, so you're probably right.
The blood settled to the front of him. Yeah.
Let's see here. And this story of Ray is another Indiana case. So.
And I'm working on 2 more behind the scenes.
Yeah, you are. Okay.
Indianapolis cases at that.
I am going to bring up so we've all been talking about, are we ready to move on to the next case, I should ask?
That's up to you. I mean, you got control of what the topics are tonight, so.
I'm just kind of watching comments and stuff. So
thank you, Love Tina. I'm good, sweetie. I just needed a few days to myself. As you can see, I was posting me making my homemade dinners and stuff because I got recipes that I've got, and I do dinners sometimes it's one of my favorite pastimes. It's cooking. So
keep talking. I'm saving something here. So I can share it.
Is it the Jason Jensen or?
No. Oh my, I didn't close out some screens from.
Hey, Randy, good to see you, bud. Yeah, I'm working. A friend of mine back in 2012 was murdered in his house. So I reached out to his younger brother and see if there's been any movement on the case. And he said, not here lately. And I said, would you mind me doing a story on Scott's murder? He said, man, I watch you. And he said, you and your partner are good. He said, I want you guys to do the story. And then the other one is an acquaintance of mine that I hung out a few times with. And I've been trying to reach out to his sister and I can't get a hold of her. So waiting on that one too.
Okay. So the next case that we're going to talk about is the Ashley Morris Mullis.
You gotta blow
As
that
you
up.
all know.
You got to blow that up.
I will, hon.
And how old is she now? She's what, 11, right? Something like that.
9, 10.
See, 2013, 9 years
2013.
old. She would be 9.
Mm-hmm. So Don needs a lot of help. So Ashley went missing in 2013. She had a baby. They never got I don't think they ever got a DNA test for Abigail.
It's just so confusing. If you read the probable cause on that, it's just so confusing. It's just like, did he or did they not? Because now they're saying that they took blood from him the day he died, from Dan.
But what's more is they're saying that she illegally adopted her in Florida
by telling them that she didn't have no other family.
Right.
So that was fraudulent on the application.
Right.
Or the interview process.
So they are doing different fundraisers for Don and his wife. They're trying to get as much money as they can so that they have money for the attorney. This is a huge battle right now. This woman is living in North Carolina, Sheila York.
She's back in Indiana.
Is she? Because I heard she wasn't.
I just read an update today. It was updated yesterday that she appeared in front of the judge in Delaware County, and they put her on a $10,000 bond, and she made bail.
Oh, I know that she hired 3 attorneys out of Muncie.
So she's already back.
Okay. We'll get more updates here in a minute. They're doing fundraisers to help Don with the legal costs of trying to get his granddaughter, custody of his granddaughter. So we keep putting this information out on the Facebook pages of all the different. There's a GoFundMe. There was a bowling fundraiser. Now they're doing a car and Jeep show on March 4th from 11 to 3. If at all you can participate in any of these fundraisers, please do so. All they want right now is custody of their granddaughter. In the end, they want this woman to tell them what happened to their daughter because they believe she knows.
I'm looking for that update I was reading about today.
Okay. And this little girl's life has been turned upside down. Sheila York is the only mother she's ever known. And now in the past couple weeks, she's learned that Sheila is not her mother, that she has another family, and she was put in protective services. So she's being placed in different areas with different people, and it's just that feeling. It's just sad. So all I ask is that anything you can do, if you don't have the money to donate and go to these events, this one you can just go look at things and support them. If you don't have the money, that's fine. Just share these out. Share them out to everybody that you know, so that as many people in the area can go and support Don and his wife and his family. So, we want this resolved. We want it resolved quickly. We're hoping that Don and his wife get custody, and that this little girl is going to need a lot of psychological help, mental help. Everything she knew.
Let me forward this to you.
False.
Let me forward this to you.
Even her name was changed.
Let me forward this to you real quick.
Okay.
I'm sending it to the email.
Yeah, even her name was changed. So I can't stress how much support Don and his family are going to need when they get her back.
There you go.
Where did you send it to, hon?
Marv and Frank, the email.
Okay.
This is from yesterday. They said that she surrendered to the Delaware County Court of Jail. I
remember reading that.
Which is Muncie.
Oh, okay. Then that's just me not knowing the counties.
She made bail in North Carolina, and then
and she wasn't supposed to.
Well, she might have got permission from North Carolina, because my understanding, they were in contact with the courts there. Muncie police were, or state police, who was ever involved with this case.
But one of the things that was supposed to happen is they were supposed to extradite her back. They weren't supposed to give her bail.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Right here. You have to blow it up if you can, as much as you can. So,
former Muncie resident accused of kidnapping the child of a long missing local woman this week has surrendered in Delaware County Jail. Sheila York, 66, who now lives in North Carolina, was charged with kidnapping and obstruction of justice in Delaware Circuit Court 4th in January. She was arrested in North Carolina on February 8th, but was later released after posting bail in that state. York surrendered Wednesday in the Delaware County Jail, according to Jeff Stanley, chief deputy of the Delaware County Sheriff's Department. She was checked into prison and then released after posting a $10,000 bail. York is accused of abducting the daughter of Ashley Morris Mullis, a 27-year-old mother of 3, who was last seen by friends and family in September of 2013. Mullis's youngest child, a daughter, was a baby when her mother disappeared. The child's father was reportedly Sheila York's husband, Daniel. The child was with the Yorks after her mother's disappearance. Daniel York, described by investigators as a suspect in the Mullis disappearance, died in Florida in 2015. Sheila York later adopted the child in Florida. According to local prosecutors, she provided authorities in that state with false information about Mullis and the missing woman's family while pursuing the adoption. She also denied attempts by Mullis's parents to visit their granddaughter. A first hearing on the local charges against York is scheduled for March 27th. Court records show she engaged the services of 3 attorneys. Muncie's Kelly Bryan and the attorneys for Fisher, Russell, Kate, and Sandeep Singh. Kidnapping is a level 5 felony with up to 6 years in prison, while obstruction of justice is a level 6 felony with a maximum sentence of 30 months. The grandparents also have filed a lawsuit seeking emergency custody of the child. And that is why we are asking anybody to help either donate to the GoFundMe or participate in the fundraisers that are happening because they are having to pay an attorney right now as they're seeking emergency custody of the child. So, do whatever you can. If that means you don't have the money to donate, then just share all of these and try to get as many people to these functions as possible. So
I think it's best for us right now, for every subscriber or super chat or super sticker we get every month, we donate $50 from our channel to their fund.
I have already donated $50 for this month.
Right.
But I would agree. I would agree 100% with you. That I thought I got a message here from my daughter, so I'm just checking 1 second. I would agree that with you on that. $50 each month.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, for me being in the system as a child, that child is going to go through some things. I mean, being taken away from what you believe was your mother all these years and then placed in the state custody. I've been there. It happened to me when I was in 2nd grade. And then I got shipped off to a foster family for a year.
Yeah.
So I can just imagine what this young lady's going to be going through in the next few months to a year.
Well, and that's why I said, the attorney fees are important in order to get custody of her. But we're going to have to continue supporting this family.
Right.
Because there's going to be a lot of...
There's a long road ahead.
Mental health and, this isn't just something where... The only good thing is that she is young. Kids tend to bounce back from situations. But this is major. This is life-altering. Like I said, they changed her name.
Right.
So, and when she finds out what happened, I don't know that she truly knows what happened to her mother. Her real mother, Ashley. She's got to learn all of this.
Exactly.
But it's going to have to be in small stages because you can't overwhelm her either.
Right.
So, I agree. So we'll definitely keep supporting them. And I have asked Don to come on our show.
Oh, and by the way, I did confirm that he was advised by law enforcement not to do any interviews, do any YouTube interviews or anything.
Okay. And I agree with that now, knowing the battle that he's going to be in.
Right. Because I've been in contact with him also. So.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, I will put this on our community page and in Discord and on the Facebook group page right after this live so that you can get it. Yes, Steffa, her entire life has been tragedy. The dad of Abigail passed away a while ago. Yes.
7 years ago. And
So
they hid his death. Basically what happened.
Yeah.
they hid his death. Sheila York and Daniel had a biological daughter also, and she's grown. And they tried to cover it up. And then when the daughter was confronted and said she didn't know anything about it, and then all of a sudden she broke down and got on her knees and started bawling and said, yes, she knew about him dying back in 2015, but covered it up to make it look like he was still alive.
Lollipop, I know that she was in protective services custody. I had heard that they were trying to get friends of Sheila York to get her to go with them, but Don and his wife are adamant. They want, that's why they filed the emergency custody.
Right.
They feel that if she goes to somebody else that is affiliated with Sheila, it's going to be that much harder to get her back.
Yeah.
I shared the flyer with all my car show groups. Awesome. Thank you so much. No, they have not found Ashley.
No. And see, I'd like to get my man, when we first did this, talked about the story almost a year ago, when they searched those wooded area by that fenced-in area, by that park, whatever it was, and they found those bones.
Yes.
That really irks me that they said they sent them off to pathologists or anthropologists, whatever those people are that study that stuff at Ball State. Then we saw the letter where Ball State sent back and said, we never received anything from them to be tested.
Right. And
they look like human bones to us from what we seen.
Yeah, and they bulldozed and buried that whole area.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
All right, let's see here. I'm just looking to see if we have any questions. Yeah, she's 9 years old. Well, you got to remember, so she only knows Sheila York as a mom. The man that she knew as dad died, and now she is learning that this woman and this man were not her parents.
They might not even be saying anything to her right now.
I hope not. But
Viv Inquiries, we did a little bit of research on Daniel York. His family's got deep pockets and money and Muncie.
Yes.
They got power.
Yes, Justice Angel. There is 2 murders that they believe Daniel York was connected with. He is a suspect in both. So Sheila York may have the answers on both of those cases. Yes, it is, but they're finally doing something, and I guess that's what matters right now. Should have been done a long time ago. I agree.
And see here recently, not to jump off subject with this case here, but we've received numerous requests in our emails on cases similar to this where LE doesn't keep the family informed of anything.
Yeah. It's an epidemic across police stations across the whole United States. So, yes, please tell the truth, Sheila, after all this time. Exactly. All right. So, yes, watch the community page, watch the Facebook groups, or the Facebook group page, watch Discord. Anytime there's any kind of fundraiser for this, I will make sure that I put it in all 3 areas so that you guys can pass it along and share it, participate, whatever you can do. We appreciate it. We know that our members and our subscribers like to help. So, like I said, even just sharing the information helps. Dan York's cousin was the sheriff of Delaware County at the time of Ashley's disappearance. Yes. And yes, they need a lot of help. She's going to need a lot of help.
There's going to be a lot of therapy involved.
Right.
A lot of therapy.
Okay. So I'm going to take this down. I need to go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page and bring my screen across here. And this is what I want to show you next. Oops. Voice of Tabitha Shuck reigns, still fighting for justice 20 years later. Love always, Dad. We said it's coming. It's officially here. Next Saturday evening will be the first episode of Tabitha Shuck Reigns' case. We're going to take this in steps, guys. I'm telling you, there's at least 17 lives that we will be doing on this case, if not more. This is a 20-year-old case. So, we're ready to bring it to you finally. It's been a lot of work, but we're going to do it. So next Saturday will be part 1 of Tabitha Shuck Reigns. Yeah. She's another one that needs justice. Thank you, Marvin Frank, for all you do to help us get justice. I have to thank... Oh, hang on. My alarm's going off. Frank has been able to help me a little bit on this case. I can talk to him about it, bounce ideas and stuff off of him with it. But Andrea has really, really stepped up and helped with this case. She is printing out documents, and she said no, she needs more ink. More ink and more paper.
I got 1 cartridge of ink left because I'm still printing.
Yeah. So
I've already printed about 1,300 pages out. I'm like, damn. And I'm not even halfway through this.
So with Tabitha's case, there was a trial. A woman was acquitted. There was a man that took a plea deal for a much, much, much lesser charge than murder.
Okay, stop right there. This young man was charged with murder, criminal confinement, battery with bodily injury, and assisting a criminal. He took a plea deal to have everything dropped or dismissed except for the battery with bodily injury. That's all he pled out on, and the way the law works in Indiana, if somebody pleads out on a specific case, no matter what they pled out to, the case is going to be closed because they have a conviction in it.
It's not just Indiana.
This is the way I've seen it done in Indiana.
Right, but it's all across the United States. So your big profile cases, like Nicole Simpson, Ron Goldman, Kaylee Anthony, once they were, the OJ and her mother were acquitted, those cases more than likely were closed.
Yep.
And the same thing happened with Tabitha's case, except the family was never notified that it was closed. We just confirmed that last month. So for the past 20 years, they have thought that the police were working this case, continued working this case, and they didn't.
Yep. I had to make that phone call too, down to the prosecutor's office to find out. It's like, damn, you guys are leaving me to do that?
Yep. You're good at it.
Well, I got it out of them.
One of the things that we're doing behind the scenes is, now that we know Tabitha's case has been closed, the reason that Andrea is doing the printing information and stuff is because we have to create a binder for the Indiana State Police and ask them to reopen Tabitha's case.
Right.
It's using Act 177. Now, we already know that Doug Carter has denied over 25 cases that they've requested to be reopened. Flat out denied them.
And that was Senator Mesmer from up north had a personal meeting with Doug Carter about it.
Yes. So they are in the process of redoing that law. Don't know exactly what's going to happen with it, but I'm hoping that they make it better. So this just goes to show you, Andrew says, I ordered 2 extra large ink cartridges and 1,500 sheets and ordered more. Yeah. So what we have to do is we have to go through and find all the inconsistencies in Tabitha's case. We have to look to see what evidence was not, that has DNA that wasn't tested, and request that this be reopened. And that all that evidence be tested. So, like I said, this is going to be a weekly segment of our channel starting Saturday.
So we know one person in this case admitted to his involvement.
Yeah. Yes, support with Steffa. The case was closed.
Yeah.
And the family had no idea until last month when Frank confirmed it. This family is another family that has been treated absolutely horrendously by law enforcement and the prosecutor.
He's a piece of work too, as far as I'm concerned.
And yes, the plea bargain with this young man was done behind their backs. They specifically told the prosecutor, Jay Rich, that they did not want a plea deal. Now, the big kicker on this is Jay Rich, the prosecutor,
oh boy,
has very good friends with this young man's mother and has known the two families have been connected for generations. He should have never, ever had his hands on this case. Never. So, like I said, Saturday, we're going to start out slow. Saturday, I'm going to introduce you to the Tipton area, and I'm going to introduce you to the key players in this case, because there's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
And in order to follow the story, you need to know the area and you need to know the key players. So that is going to be episode 1. Episode 2, we're going to go into her actual story of what happened. And
thank you, Viv Inquiries.
Yes, thank you so much. And in order to reach a bigger base of individuals for these cases, this weekend, I am going to be doing a test live, not only on YouTube, but also on Facebook. Because we have a lot of people that follow Facebook that don't follow YouTube. So in order to reach more of an audience, we will start doing our lives on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. This weekend, I'm going to test it to make sure that I have it right. So that's going to come with the start of Tabitha's case. And then we'll be doing that from now on. So, Mark, Buffy, thank you so much for being patient with us. We know that this has taken a long time, but it was so important. I just need the audience to know it was so important for us to do the research and read through all of this information before I could bring you the story. So I've been saying this for months that Tabitha's case was coming. But every time I'd say that, we'd get more information. We've had people contacting us. So I appreciate them being so patient with us. But we are ramping up, and it's going to start. Mark says this. Oh, thank you, Boston Christian.
Stop.
Are you controlling the button? Oh,
that's what I was doing. Going back to that.
We're clicking on. Mark says the star witness that said he witnessed Tabitha's murder received immunity for the morphine patch death of a young man in July of 2002 for coming forward with the info about Tabby's murder. So yes, there were more deaths associated
with this young man. Yep.
More than welcome. We can't thank you all enough.
And the bad thing about it is the young man was in the military at one point in time too.
Yeah. So we've gone through Karina. We've gone through JJ. We've gone through Ashley Morris Mullis now.
Updated Karina. We updated Amaya Roberts.
Yes. There was one comment I need to find here. Terry, since you came in late, can you give the basics of the mom Ashley real quick? Yes. Ashley went missing in 2000, was it 13?
Her
Yeah.
full name is Ashley Morris Mullis. Mullis is her married name.
Right. So she was dating a man that was married. It's assumed, it's never been confirmed, that this man is the father of her youngest child. Okay? She's never been found. Shortly after her disappearance, Daniel York and Sheila York took Ashley's youngest child, who was a baby at the time, and moved to Florida.
Right after Ashley's disappearance.
Right.
See, you got to understand, Don went over to Ashley's apartment or whatever it was and seen that Dan and all of them were moving stuff out of Ashley's apartment. But they, I guess, since they were the landlords, they had the right to do that because they were probably making it look like Ashley hadn't paid her rent or whatever and evicted her.
Because this man owned the house that she was staying in.
Yes. And Sheila York would always go over there to collect rent and would see the baby and not realizing it was allegedly her husband's child.
Yeah. Dee, thank you so much. Yeah, so go back and watch the earlier part, but that's a short little breakdown for you. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so we have Delphi and we have a plea for help from Mr. Jensen.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to say this. We're going to talk about Delphi now. And then I'm going to do the plea for Mr. Jensen. I know that a lot of our viewers do not like Mr. Jensen.
You might as well play that now.
But he is an up-and-up guy, and he really, really tries to help with these cases. I can do that.
You guys might not agree with his opinions and his theories and things of that nature. We all have the same theories, maybe not the same as his, but we all have our theories and opinions, and we're entitled to that, so you can't hold it against the gentleman. Mr. Jensen Ruckus is a private investigator out of the state of Utah who's been following the Delphi case for some time now. He's been on our show a couple times.
What is his first name?
Jason.
Here we go. All right, I'm going to pause this. Now, this is a case out of Utah. So I'm asking, where to go? I have too many screens up.
Yes, Fan of Inquirers, you are correct. He's just trying to help in any way he can since he's a private investigator and he's got degrees in criminal law, defense attorney law, and all that kind of stuff.
I have Uh-oh.
Just power surge.
I thought I clicked on the StreamYard and just ended it. But I didn't. Okay. There it is. I can't really make this big a whole lot, but hang on. Oh, there we go. Now, remember, this is a case out of Utah. So, if you know anybody in Utah, especially in the areas that he is talking about, share it.
Wrong one.
Oh, I got to present again. That's what I did. I shut that screen.
You guys like my new background?
All right, I'm going to mute.
Off camera.
Hi there, this is Jason Jensen. I'm pleading for your help. I'm here at the base of Hobble Creek Canyon. Behind me is where the road is closed because it's still early in the year. The road won't open until after the snow melts, probably at the rate of our snowfall this year, and the snowpack is probably going to be late May before the road opens up. The reason why I'm here today is concerning the Elizabeth Elena Laguna Salgado case. I need your help. We need your help. The community needs your help. Somebody out there knows what happened to Elizabeth. And what I mean by that is you weren't a witness to her murder by any means. But what we do know is that her body was found at the top of this mountain, Hobble Creek Canyon, in May of 2018. The last time she was seen alive was on April 16, 2015, 3 years and a month earlier. And why this is significant is 4 days before her disappearance on the 16th, it was Sunday, April 12th. On Sunday, April 12th, she was at a church activity, a picnic, a little bit further west from here at the Kelly's Grove Park. It was a church activity. It would be my educated guess that her being there 4 days before her body ends up here 4 days later is no coincidence. I would imagine that because she was a visitor to Utah and this beautiful, magnificent place was attractive for a picnic or some kind of adventure, and whomever she was speaking with, socializing there on that church Sunday afternoon, was likely the one to take her on this adventure. Somebody that was smitten by her, somebody that she was she liked, that had an infatuation for her. We need that information. We need to know who she was associating with at that church activity. We need to know who brought her here and who took her home that day. So if you have any information, please contact me or the Utah County Sheriff's Office, because as little and as innocent as that information is to you, it's significant to leading to an answer on this case, and we need your help. So if you were a resident at the Branbury Apartments, if you attended the ward that she did during that time frame of April 2015, that matters. Please call, please give us the information. Whoever she was talking to, that's what we need. Whoever she rode to the picnic that day or who took her home, that's what matters. Please call it in. My number is 801-759-2248, or you can email me at jason@jenseninvestigations.com or call the Utah County Sheriff's Office. Thank you very much.
Okay, y'all being...
Hi there, this is Jason.
Not again.
shit up wanting me to carve a pumpkin.
What? You don't have your mic on, Marv.
I'm trying to get him off the screen. I love that guy's videos, but he swears a lot, and we won't be showing him on here. So, Ruff.
Yeah, he's at the window. Blade, it's enough.
Yes, you did. He was like third in line.
Yeah.
Okay. I've drank a full glass of water. I need to use the bathroom. Can you start us out on Delphi as to what the latest motion or
Just basically what happened, guys, is the judge, well, first of all, we all know that Nick McClellan went to the Carroll County Council requesting an additional $5,000 for himself and Shane Evans and try to get more funds sent to them to where they can get a special prosecutor to cover for the caseloads they have, so they can strictly work on the Delphi case. And they were granted the $5,000 each. And I haven't heard anything about a new or special prosecutor being brought in yet. So as far as that's concerned, that's a dead issue at the moment. We know that the media filed a motion in court basically stating that by our constitutional right, we have every right to see the evidence and anything that's in the PCA discovery, whatever there is. And they're filing a motion for the judge to enforce that constitutional right. And that's what's going on with that. We all know that Richard Allen's thing got moved until June, which me and Marv have been talking about that. And I'm planning to probably stay in a motel there in Lafayette for 2 days and go to both hearings because it's the 15th and 16th of June. So I can attend both of them. But we have been talking about this Garett Kirts things when it comes to Delphi. And we had a long conversation about this and something, I mean, at first I had a gentleman reach out to me and I said, he was like, he is dead to the ringer saying that it's Garett Kirts on the bridge. And that I can't give his name out, but I will say that he was very close and good friends with one of the family members. He reached out to me Saturday night. And I explained the situation to Marv, what he was telling me. He was basically saying that this all took place because of one individual. So we started looking at the drug angle again. Now, we know we're pretty much confident that Garett Kirts and Keegan Kline have crossed paths once or twice in their lifetimes because of the drug scene. And we all know that there was a report allegedly against Garett Kirts of him catfishing some 14-year-old girl back around the time of the murders, like January or something like that. So it makes me wonder if Kirts knew Keegan as a catfisher and got in contact with Keegan Kline and had Keegan set up to meet, and then the whole deal took place. Now, me and Marv have been talking about Richard Allen. Just because they have bullet evidence, they have him admitting to being at the trail and being on the bridge. He admits to all that. Okay. But what we're thinking is that there is something that is tight-lipped, just more than just a bullet in his admission of being at the trails of the day. There's something else. They just give us a little midget of some bullshit stuff they put in the probable cause affidavit. That's all they gave us. So we're thinking that they're holding on to something that ties Richard Allen into the case. Not in their seat, because we're having a hard time convincing ourselves that he's the bridge guy. Just by his height, and things in that nature. I mean, you got to think about it. The witness that was at the bridge allegedly saw a person dressed like BG that was standing on the first platform, but she never told us that it was Richard Allen.
I'm cold.
I would imagine so with all the snow you guys got.
So I talked to Frank extensively late last night about this. Let's just look at the probable cause warrant for Richard Allen. There's 3 descriptions. 3 different descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if each of those witnesses saw 3 individuals that could be involved in this murder? We're assuming they made a mistake on the color of the jackets and stuff. But like I told Frank last night, kids know denim. They're not going to make a mistake on a denim jacket. If she said she saw a denim jacket, a man in a denim jacket, I believe her. Because all throughout the years, denim always comes back. My son is into denim jackets now. So they know denim. They're not going to mistake a denim jacket. Okay? The other description is a man in all black. We've thrown it out. We've hashed it out. Maybe they got the color mistaken. I don't think so anymore. She is adamant that this man was in all black. And then you have the witness that saw, like Frank said, a man at the bridge dressed like BG. But we don't know if she's actually said that that was Richard Allen. So you got 3 individuals. One thing Frank pointed out to me is every time we see Ron Logan in pictures or videos
Or interviews or anything.
What kind of boots is he wearing? Can anybody answer that? What kind of boots is Ron Logan wearing? I'm just kind of waiting for a reply here. Right, Ruckus. All of them describe someone different. Well, not all of them. Some of them match depending on who was where. But there you go.
Waiter boots, rubber boots. And just this latest that came out with him at the transfer station. Look at him. He's wearing them rubber boots. And Ron Logan, believe it or not,
they're tall.
Up to almost to his knees. And believe it or not, Ron Logan has got a big old pot belly. Big old pot belly.
BG was not wearing rubber boots. So that is why on Delphi After Dark, I came out and I finally said, I do not think that Ron Logan or Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. I think there's a third.
Yep.
I think they have enough evidence against Richard Allen. And that's why they charged him with felony murder, not the actual murder. So, he had a part in this. They have enough evidence where they feel they can prove it. Therefore, they arrested him. Now they are going to squeeze him and do everything they can to get this man to talk, to implicate others.
And if that means coming at him with the death penalty to get him to talk, that's one of their advantages.
And that may be why they haven't actually put the death penalty on the table yet.
Right.
So now Olivia too asked about Garett Kirts.
Oh, God.
Garett Kirts knows something about who did this.
Yeah.
As we said earlier, according to him, he was on a major drug high. He had been doing drugs for days. I do not believe that Garett Kirts is the one that killed the girls. He could not have done this in this intentional, methodical way and not been sloppy enough to where he would have gotten caught right away.
And like me and her discussed about this last night, is that his signature for killing somebody is strangulation. And we all pretty much know how the girls died. It just hasn't been confirmed, but we're pretty sure we know how they died.
Yeah, Chris says, I searched for any connection between Alan and the Kleins, found zero, nothing. Anyone else on here have any luck? Well, no, that's the question.
Check under Rick, Allen, and Peru, and I believe he lived on 2nd Street around the time the Kleins did. Because we know Kathy Allen's family's from Peru. And we know that Richard Allen is originally from Mexico, Indiana, which is just like a little town or some sort right outside of Peru.
Right.
And another thing, when I was telling him about this gentleman that got a hold of me at 1 o'clock in the morning the other night, and he's adamant about Garett Kirts. He said, go back and watch the Open Secrets thing and see if there's something you could find. He said, I already found it. He said, I want you to go back and study it. And I couldn't find what he was talking about. And then Angela L here in the chat, I said something to her about it. I said, man, I know what he's talking about, but I just can't find it. And she found it for me. If you watch episode 10 of, what is it called? It's something to do with Open Secrets, Garett Kirts. Garett Kirts admittedly said that a person named Rick, and I can't make out the female's name, saw the video and told Ashley about it. Now, what Rick are we talking about? So I'm not assuming. It's just something to look at, to throw out there and see if anybody wants to take a look and see if we can figure out who this Rick guy he's talking about. Because I know another Rick. I know another Rick out of Delphi, and he's into geocaching.
Yeah.
He had a shop right there next to JC's Bar and Grill at one point in time. So
we know that there's a lot of tentacles in this case.
Ruckus, it's really hard to say at this point in time, but you can almost certainly say that Garett knew KK just through the drug scene. And like I said earlier, how Garett was accused back in January of 2017, I believe it was, of catfishing a 14-year-old girl. So if that's the case, he might have ties with Keegan when it comes to that also. So we just don't know.
So what if, now this is just a theory. This is just a theory. What if drugs were involved? We've heard rumors of people giving other people up. What if this was revenge for something like that? When whoever, one person, two persons, decides that they want revenge, they contact the big drug ring there Garett Kirts and his crew, who contacts Keegan Kline and says, yeah, I can lure him in for you. Starts catfishing Libby, talking to her. We know for a fact through the documents that he liked to meet up with some of his victims, lures them out there where other individuals are waiting. It's possible.
Yep.
And that's how Rick Allen is tied into this too, somehow. So you got to look at the progression of things. Keegan Kline has to be talking. He has to be. Because all of a sudden the Wabash River gets searched. All this stuff with Richard Allen starts.
And each of their cases are delayed weeks apart from each other.
Right. So there's a lot of things that we cannot take off the table yet.
No.
All right.
I mean, and if you think about it, there's an interview with Ron Logan, and he clearly implicates Garett Kirts. He clearly implicates Garett Kirts. And seeing, like I was talking about earlier in the show, I said, you see what's happening now? There's a domino effect going on.
Right.
Between Keegan's case, the Delphi case now, with Ray Hanish's case.
And Karina's case.
And Karina. It's a domino effect going on. And each one of those are all drug related in some way, shape, or form. It might not be with the Delphi case. That may not be the reason why the girls were killed. But you have to throw that possibility in there. And we know Keegan was into his drugs. We know he was into CSAM. We all know all that. We know that Garett Kirts was into drugs, heavy drugs. We know that he was a woman abuser. We know that for a fact,
Yes, Jumpin' Jack Flash. There's more than one, and all these witnesses aren't colorblind. I agree.
It's just weird how this is all taking place in the Delphi case, and all of a sudden the Garett Kirts thing breaks. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There you go, Olivia, too. Exactly. Drugs and CSAM are all mingled in together.
Yes.
Oh, I can guarantee. I'm almost can guarantee you that Garett Kirts is going to be singing like a bird, a canary now.
I don't know about that.
Man,
his life is still in jeopardy.
If they put him in solitary confinement, he'd be fine.
Yeah, but you can't put him in solitary confinement for the next 50 plus years.
Oh, they do what they want to do. I mean, we know that Chris Mathis is scared shitless of Garett Kirts.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's just basically been the way it's been with these two cases with Nicole and Ray is finger pointing between Ashley and Garett. The finger pointing game.
Yeah, it would make sense.
I'm struggling with a ruckus right now, just due to the fact of his height. That's the only reason I've got to hang up on it. because I always refer back to when Doug Carter says, do not look at the head of the photo or the video, study the body mannerisms, not his face. They didn't want you looking at the face for a reason. And they couldn't afford to take a case to make it a death penalty case anyway.
All right, I'm looking for questions here. Chris says, I heard about the whole 2nd Street thing, but did they actually live there at the same time?
I would have to go back and look on that one.
Do you guys think GK is involved with Delphi? He could be, him and his drug gang could be one of the tentacles. Yes, Kirsty, there's a lot of new questions. Coach Kev's True Crime Talk says more tentacles than 4 octopi. Livy says, in my opinion, a definite possibility. And Jumpin' Jack Flash brings up a good point. People have pointed the finger at Garett Kirts and his crew from the very beginning. And it's always persisted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, trust me. I've known this. There's some information I've known for a while, and it was brought back up to me by the gentleman that contacted me Saturday at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And it had to do with Tina Riddell's sister. Her name is Christy Martin. She got busted in Florida with a bunch of dope by another than Mike Thomas. Well, it was a federal case. And she got 17 years, and an alleged one person was squealing on people. And that's why she got 17 years. And come to find out that her father, Christy Martin's father, is full-blood Mexican.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm just like, man.
Ruckus, that is what we're trying to do, is tie all of these together.
Yeah.
Freckled Joy says, I think Flint Farmer could be talking. This all started moving quickly once he was arrested. He is another individual that could be talking.
Yeah, that's a good point. You
got to
I
remember, now that they've got these arrests, these people are going to start freaking.
Yep.
They're going to want to save themselves.
And you got to remember also, Flint Farmer was involved with the drug scene. Gabe Ellis and that crew.
If you go with the drug theory, in reality, it could have been either one.
And the other theory we all know is the CSAM angle, in which we all know that Libby was in contact with the Anthony Shots account. And see, me and her had another discussion about this last night. If during Keegan's interrogation, the transcripts clearly states that somebody had messaged and said that we were supposed to meet the girls at the bridge at 8 a.m. and they never showed up. Now, if that's the case, is there any messages in Libby's phone stating they were supposed to meet up with somebody at 8 a.m. in the morning? And I've said this many a times, there's more evidence in her phone than what we realize.
Christy says, in the very beginning, I thought I heard or read that a relative of Libby's had a drug connection and she was killed because of it. There was many drug connections.
Yeah.
Many. Not just one. And on both sides. On Abby's and Libby's side. No, nobody has been able to confirm the 3-day party.
No.
Nobody will talk about that. Yeah, drugs and CP all mingled.
Yeah.
GK is a permanent redneck rehab now. Yeah. And now with these new charges, he's never going to get out.
Nope.
I've heard that before, Christy, but never heard any proof. Many rumors. But these druggies know each other or of each other, it seems. Yes.
Yep. Then you got Dustin Prater, and then you got old French boy. Can't remember his first name. Last name French. And then you got the Paladinos.
Chetta says, was an arrest not long ago. Again, Carroll County Sheriff forgot to file on guy because of election. Calista is the last name. Thanks, Ruckus. I try to pop in and see your lives, but I seem to miss them and always have to watch the replays. I'm glad you could catch us live.
Tyler French. There you go. Thank you, Angela.
French, yeah.
Tyler
From what
French.
I know, isn't Garett Kirts like 6'4"?
I have never heard of him being that tall. I thought I heard he was maybe 6'1", maybe 6'2" at the tallest.
We'll have to look at some of his bookings and see if we can get his height.
I don't believe he's that tall. Yes, D, that's Calista Shots you're talking about.
Digital. We can only go by what we've been told. This is an actual video that Libby took with her phone.
And I'm still going to stand by what I said. I believe the damn thing was altered.
Oh, Ruckus, we always get questions. Our chat loves that we try to answer as many as we can.
What's she doing with us?
I heard there was actually more audio besides guys down the hill. Is this true? As far as what we know, this is it. As far as audio. Video, there's 43 seconds that we know, but we only get to see, 1.5 seconds, if that?
Yep, it loops every 1.2 seconds. Yes, Freckled Joy. That is correct.
Yes, Ashley and Garett Kirts were boyfriend and girlfriend for quite a while.
But Garrett was doing side things. Ray Hanish happened to be one, and Nicole Bowen was the other. And see, that's what Ivy Rose, I totally agree. Since all these some of these counties are getting new elected officials, things are starting to happen.
Yep. Not necessarily the good old boys club anymore in some of these areas.
Correct, Digital. They were caught stealing ammonium nitrate. And it happened to be at where Ashley Garth's father worked at. Toby Garth.
And I just want to say, meth is everywhere in Indiana very bad.
Yes, it is.
You're going to hear meth talked about in the Tabitha case. And even other, I mean, it's everywhere in Indiana, along with other across the United States. It's not just Carroll County. CJK says, I believe there's more on the phone, some inaudible and some audible. Maybe one day we'll know for certain. Yeah.
Yes, Cold Truth. You're talking about Richard Allen, or are you talking about Garett Kirts?
So, Jumpin' Jack Flash, the good news is, did you tell them that the judges now get to decide whether the press gets to video the trial?
Starting May 1st, it's the state of Indiana if she's going to allow cameras in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that there's a possibility Delphi will.
It's
just
too
for
big
the
of a national case.
National attention and money.
Yep.
And money.
Ruckus says, Frank, I know you're from that general area. Do you know any of the players in all of this at all?
No.
Personally, no.
No. But I've done so much research on just about everybody, you would think I would know them personally. Freckles Joy, let me tell you, up in that area, Carroll County, Miami County, Putnam County, all those little counties like that, they're still going to be good old boys.
Yeah.
Because they're out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around them.
Yes, NASA, Disney, any of the bigwigs that could get their hands on that video tried to clear it up.
Yep, that's what we were talking about.
Nicole Bowen's aunt is a prater, isn't she?
I'm not sure. I haven't really dug into her that much. Yeah, Christy, I don't want to see. Every time I go up to Delphi, I carry my gun with me, right on my hips. Everybody that's been out there knows I carry.
Yeah, there's always going to be some good old boys.
Mm-hmm.
But they're starting to lose their power in certain areas.
Yeah, I don't think Kirts is. I think Kirts is like, I said probably 5'10" to 6 foot, maybe 6'1" at the tallest. He's not very tall.
And you got to remember, when it comes to the video cameras being in the court, the judge for Delphi was on the committee for this.
Right.
So, because she was on the committee, I am hoping she does this.
Yeah, but then again, there's going to be things said and they're not going to allow you to hear, and things that they're not going to allow you to see. That's the only bad thing about that when it's publicly televised like that. And that's why I'd rather be there in person if I could see for myself exactly what took place and hear directly what took place.
Right. So, Cold Truth, you think he's 5'10"? I would think that would be about right. Oh, yeah. At this point, I think there's a whole lot of rating. Do you mean rating?
Ratting.
Okay.
Angela, you got to look at it this way. If he keeps his mouth shut about Delphi, everybody knows that's a death penalty case.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps his mouth shut, he's not going to be looking at no death penalty if he was ever involved in it. If they can't get him tied to it, he would never be looking at the death penalty.
D, if this case gets televised, I will find a way to put it on the channel. You guys, I may just have to let it play and you guys watch it while I listen and work. But I will find a way to put it on there.
Okay, Christy, you got to realize that wait is going to be 2 years. He got arrested in 2019 for Nicole Bowen. So he'd probably been in jail for a while and gained a few pounds, sitting there just eating his cupcakes and talking shit to people all the time, like he always does, especially when he's doing it on Open Secrets, talking all that shit from behind a damn glass window.
Right. Everything that we've been told, choking was not involved. And Boston Christian makes a good point. He's very scared of somebody. So Chris Mathis is scared of Garett Kirts. There's people that are higher than Garett Kirts that he's
freaking out about. And one of them's getting ready to get out of prison in July. If he's not already out on good behavior or whatever.
Right. Sheila Jones, there's other stories about him strangling too. I don't know if A&L were strangled though. Not from what we're hearing. And the information we got, there was no strangling involved. But yes, there is other stories about Garett Kirts possibly being a person of interest in other cases.
Yeah. There you go, Angela. You know who I was talking about. Jason Palladino is due to be released in July. And then his dad, his dad's getting ready to go to prison.
I agree, Ivy. Unfortunately, you can only work with the pixels that are there. People from all over the world have tried to clear that photo up.
Still sticking with my story. They did that for a reason.
Yeah. No, they always have them stand against a board that measures their height. I know. I don't know about weight. I don't know if they weigh them.
See, exactly, Sheila. He even said it in Open Secrets. He said, I was so high that day, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But then right behind that, he said, I know for a fact I didn't kill 2 girls, though. You just contradicted what you just said, dude. You don't know what you did that day.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But.
So, like I said, I don't think this trial is going to happen in 2023.
I don't think it is either.
I think
if it even goes to trial. I'm trying to get everybody to see my thing.
Oh.
There you go. Don't tread on me, people.
So we're going to have to be patient.
Yep.
And who knows? There could be other arrests in the meantime. We don't know. They're still investigating. The tip line is still open.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this past, I would say 8 months have proven that the dominoes are starting to fall on these cases.
Yep. Look what Jamie Hicks just said. You're right, Jamie. Garett Kirts said that the cops have to figure out what the fuck he was doing that day.
Yeah.
It ain't his job. Oh, you're not the only one, Freckle Joy. I've been there a couple times. And They didn't weigh me, and they don't do your height either. At least they didn't me. They just asked me how tall I was.
Well, nowadays they have the chart thing for the booking picture.
You're late, Purdue. I wonder where you're at. Yeah, don't you dare tread on me. God dang it. There you go.
Yes, there was a report that Garett Kirts tried to strangle Ashley Garth.
Yep. Yep.
So that's why we said he has a signature, and his signature is strangulation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good to know, Ruckus. I worked in booking for 10 years. We asked height and weight.
That's what they always did the couple times that I was in jail. Oh, yeah, Purdue, Boston Christian, IU Purdue game tomorrow. The big game of the week.
So, if you've been watching from the beginning and you like this format where we talk about multiple things in one live, put a 1 in the chat. Because we're curious as to what you guys like. You know, some things we will only talk about one thing, but if you like this format, we can make this a weekly live.
And then I will be covering a friend of mine's murder from back in 2012. His name was Scott Abel, and I've been in contact with the family, and they gave the blessings to us to cover his story. So me and Marv are going to have to figure a schedule out to actually have a conference with the younger brother Frankie, and let him break down everything to us. And he might even do a live with us, but we would have to disguise his face and his voice, and we got to try to figure out how to do that. Yeah, because they had to move the mother down to Florida for her protection. So that's another case that I'm working with. I was out of Lawrence, Indiana, back in 2012, and I just got started on that one. So, and I'm digging into another murder case from 2010 or 11. Another acquaintance of mine was murdered in his own home, and it's still unsolved. Bobby Ford.
Thank you so much, Christy. She says, I've liked any format you've done. You're the only ones I watch and interact with.
Grizz, what's up, brother? He's in there somewhere. Somebody said hello to him. Yes, Cold Truth. I totally agree with you on that. Me and Marv were talking about that.
Yeah.
Me and Marv were talking about that. I said, just hypothetically, what if Kirts was involved with the Delphi case? He got away with it at this long, okay? He killed Ray Hanish. He got away with it until just yesterday.
Right.
Then he got sloppy with Nicole Bowen.
That's
how he got caught. Just hypothetically, you have to look at all possibilities when it comes to Delphi. All possibilities. Because they're sure in the hell's not giving us enough information to pinpoint down to where we need exactly to look at or what angle to look at. We already know that. They're just stuck on Richard Allen. And I'm sorry, but I'm having a problem with the whole Richard Allen scenario right now.
Yeah. Like I said, they've got something on Richard Allen to tie him to the case, or they would have never made an arrest. But what was his actual participation?
Right.
That is what we're struggling with.
And Jamie Hicks was talking about staging the crime. Now, me and Marv have had many discussions between us and other creators, and we totally believe that those photos that were going around are legit. and we believe that was part of the staging of the crime.
Chris, no, we do not believe that the Kleins or Richard Allen had anything to do with the Jordan Sofer case.
Everything on the Jordan case is kind of dried up right now because we're not getting nobody to talk to us. We were talking to one of her sisters, and all of a sudden it was just like she dropped off the face of the earth, like somebody got in her ear and said, "Don't talk about the case." Because we ended up getting an email from the other sister, Anastasia.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Don.
So that one's going to be a hard one to try to figure out.
Ruckus, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you soon.
I'm off like a prom dress.
I like that. If the family member is involved with drugs, could the family member be arrested? No. Well,
I mean, if he, it just depends on.
If it was retaliation, then no.
But you got to suspect reason why hasn't this person come out and spoke publicly in 6 years? Ask yourself that question.
Yeah. I think RA's attorneys are going to tell him to wait until they see all the evidence in discovery. They have to see everything first before they can determine whether he should talk or not. Ivy Rose says, I was really surprised when I was reading into Jordan's case. When she was missing, they found like 3 bodies in a building in Wabash.
Yes.
Thought it was her, but wasn't.
There was a guy that they were suspecting was a serial killer out of Wabash, but they could never pin anything on him. I've got his name and everything. I wanted to look into him.
You would be surprised, Digital.
He's not a shot caller, but he was basically right below the shot caller. He peddled drugs and all that crap. Selling them, doing them.
Thank you so much, Cody. We love you too. Okay. I think he got away with killing Stephen Masterson. Maybe? Was he strangled?
Yeah, we done figured that cold truth. I mean, the 2 people he's killed, I mean, they've both been by strangulation. So that was an indication that was his method of killing people, his signature.
I'm still following that too, not as closely. Once the Murdaugh trial ends, then I'll start watching more stuff. No, the prosecution doesn't. There's something that they want to hold back even from the defense. And what is it?
But to me, it looks like the judge is siding with the defense. As of right now, she denied Nick McClelland's protective order over certain discovery.
No, I don't think this had anything to do with the girls seeing a drug deal or any drug deal. I don't know. But yeah, Digital, this is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the shock. I'm still not shocked.
There's just so many things that have happened within a year of the girls' murders that I question sometimes.
Jamie, if you go back to the beginning of the live stream, we actually talked about the Murdaugh trial. It's not a case, unfortunately. It should be. Kirts was behind him when he crashed his motorcycle. They had gotten in a Facebook fight just prior to... Ooh, interesting.
I remember seeing that video of the Facebook fight. Everybody thought it was Keegan Kline. Is that who you're talking about, Cold Truth?
Mm-hmm. Or no. I think she's still talking about Garett.
Yeah, it was Garett and some guy. Everybody thought it was Keegan Kline fighting in the front yard. There's a video that Garett had on Facebook there for a while.
So I want you, Freckle Joy, to know that Rick Allen may not have had access to the meds in the pharmacy, but his wife is a veterinarian, and she owns her own place. He would have had access to those drugs. Christy says RA was brought to the kill zone. Girls had been killed for retaliation, and RA was set up for the fall. I don't think the girls were doing drugs. I don't think the girls were either.
I don't think so either.
Prosecution knows the defense are in groups and on YouTube shows. They are smart and don't want their hand all over social media. Yep. Let's see here.
Yeah, everybody's saying that she was a
Curious what this
receptionist.
guy looks like. Well, okay.
You hear me?
What?
Everybody's saying that she was a receptionist at the vet's office.
See, I was told she owns the vet office.
I don't know.
We'll have to look into.
I didn't really look into her
Right.
much because you can't really find much on her.
Okay. I'm trying to find the best. There we go. Hey.
The ones that I sent you to the face or your messenger are the best ones. Because it shows him with a mustache, a beard growth.
Yeah, but those are
2018. That's him in 2019 when he got arrested for Nicole Bowen.
Yep.
What's going on with my earbug over here? Yes, Sheila, I already announced the Flint Farmer situation from the continuation for his trial from last week. It got continued till May 9th, and his next pretrial is April 18th.
Okay, thank you, Angela. I've heard in an interview with a CVS employee that RA has the farm tech license because he had to for his position as a shift leader manager, but didn't actually work in the pharmacy part. That's what I heard too. Yeah. Well, everyone, this is different, but I have seen that. I knew the kid's name back when I covered it I cannot remember it for nothing now. Isn't that funny how that happens? You know it and know it and know it, and then all of a sudden it's just gone.
Hey, by the way, Cold Truth, since you came in late, we covered Don and Ashley Morris.
Yes.
From now on, until they're able to get all the money together, we're going to start donating at least $50 from our channel to their fund to help raise for an attorney. So if anybody wants to jump in on that, let us know. We can give you the PayPal or whatever we need to do. And we always show our receipts and what we donated because we get them in our emails every time we donate.
This has been a great discussion tonight on all of these cases. Great discussion in the chat. We like that you guys are so interactive with us.
Jada, give me just a second. Jada, I'm talking about Ashley Morris Mullis. Her daughter was kidnapped back in 2013, and the grandfather, well, actually, Ashley's father and mother or stepmother,
her mother,
are trying to get the funds together to go get the granddaughter from North Carolina because they haven't seen her since she was 9 months old. It's just a big story that you would have to catch up on exactly what happened with that. And once you see exactly what took place, you understand what's going on.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll put his PayPal on the community page again. I will always put any fundraisers or any events that they're doing to help raise funds for him. And like I said, we know that not everybody has money to donate.
Right.
Just share the stuff. Just share it out so that others know about it and they can attend the fundraisers and everything else. Love Tina says it's been very informative and very interesting.
Cold Truth, it's a sad thing that it happens, but I could see it happening in Delphi, honestly.
Yeah.
They're gonna go through that $2.1 million in a jiffy.
Oh.
And they're gonna need more money.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's almost time.
Yeah. We love you guys.
Yeah.
We're glad that we could come on and do this. So glad Frank's back.
Believe me, when I took my week off, I was still keeping up on top of things. I have a few people that were sending me stuff to make sure I had it. Even actually, I wasn't researching or watching any YouTube creators the whole time. I didn't watch any, except for the one where the gentleman contacted me at 2:00 in the morning and he said, go back to Open Secrets. And I did. And that's when I caught the Rick thing again, because I could have swore I heard about it before. And so I went back and looked and I couldn't find it. So Angela L found it and sent it to me. And I was like, yep, that's it. I went through it and I said, yep, that's it.
Yes, please remember Randy's last walk is July 1st in Delphi. I'm trying to make sure that I can be there for that.
Yep, no doubt. In shorts this time. Yay.
Yes, that'll be nice.
With Lucille right next to me.
Thank you, everybody, for your love and support, your concern for Frank this past week, for myself with the snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Loved that you guys were keeping tabs on me and making sure I was okay. I can't make it to Don's event. I wish I could. But I'll be there in spirit. And I'm going to support any way I can. So.
And like we said, I got confirmation that Don was advised by attorneys and by law enforcement not to do interviews with YouTube creators or anything. So don't expect to see him being interviewed by anybody on YouTube.
Yeah. question for Frank. I tried to get records for the calls police went on for a certain day in Lafayette. And they told me an attorney would have to subpoena it. Does that sound right?
No.
No.
It's all
Not-
public. Everything's public record unless unless it's a major case, and then they'll ask for it to be sealed. But any kind of records, it's all public record.
So they're talking about actual police records of
Yes.
what they did that day. Okay.
Yes. There's reports. You get request reports, everything. If they give them to you, that's another thing.
Yeah. Don
We-
is Ashley Morris Mullis's father.
And like I was getting ready to say, we've ran into that issue, but we found a way around it to get police records that we wanted.
Yes, do an official FOIA request.
If anybody wants to learn the FOIA request we do not actually use a FOIA form.
No. I've got a template.
We use a template. It's about a half a page long,
Yeah.
and we just have to change a few things in that template. Within 10 minutes, the FOIA request is sent and gone to the other end. We do it by email. And 9 times out of 10, they oblige us by sending us what we want. Now, we did attempt it on Tabitha Shuck Tabitha Shuck Raines case, and the prosecutor told me that they wanted $12,000 for it. And I said, okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
So, all right, everybody, we are going to end this for tonight. Like I said, next Saturday, first installment, first part of the Tabitha Shuck Raines case.
Aren't you doing something Sunday? You got it scheduled. Yes, you got it scheduled.
I do?
Yeah. Something about some girl getting documents.
No. That's this Sunday. Tanner's Voice.
Yes.
Go on Facebook and look up Tanner's Voice. I met his mother at the March for Justice in Lafayette. She worked with another group. I'm not going to name them. A lot of you know them.
Yeah.
Cold Truth. Go look at Tanner's Voice page. There's a lot of shady things that are being done. She gave power of attorney to a certain individual so that this individual could get the documents in her son's case. This individual now will not give her those documents unless she signs a licensing agreement. Meaning
Basically,
if any money is made off the case, it would go to this other individual.
Basically, what she's doing, she's going to watermark the documents to show that they are hers. And if you use her documents, she's to being reimbursed for them if you make money off of them.
But she will not give the documents to the mother.
Right.
Until she signs this agreement. And the mother is not doing it.
So, but that was the last thing that I recall. But like I said, guys, I'll be working on an individual case. Me and Marv got to get together and try to work out a schedule to have a conference call with Scott's brother and get that done. So it might take me a little time. I even reached out to a police officer friend of mine who works for the city police that this happened in and see what information he can get from me for me. So hopefully things will come out on this case. But otherwise, guys, about 2.5 hours. We love all you guys. Appreciate everybody coming out. Yes.
Thank you for the super chats and super stickers tonight. We appreciate it. Those help us with our donating each month.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much.
Yes, everybody. And it's that time. Peace out. One love.
One love.
Good night, guys. Love you.
Yeah, Cold Truth. You need to really check that out. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Bye.